Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Tonight, this is more than just a preseason friendly. Manchester United are preparing to face AC Milan in what could be one of the most revealing games of their entire summer. Because this match is not only about fitness, it is not only about experimentation, and it is definitely not only about the result. This could be the night when Michael Carrick finally shows us what his strongest Manchester United side really looks like. And standing on the opposite touchline? Ruben Amorim, the former Manchester United manager. So yes, the Red Devils are about to face another devil. And there is one more storyline that makes this game even more explosive. Marcus Rashford, a player who had a difficult ending under Amorim at Manchester United, could now be involved against him. So stay with me, because this match has everything. Old tension, new tactics, big selection decisions, and maybe even a few clues about Manchester United's opening Premier League lineup. Let's start with Manchester United. This is their final major test before the new Premier League season begins. And at this stage of preseason, the experiments usually start to disappear. The manager has to begin making real decisions. Who starts in goal? Who forms the center-back partnership? Who controls midfield? Where does Bruno Fernandes play? And who leads the attack? That is why this game matters. Michael Carrick is running out of time to test combinations. Now he needs answers. And one of the biggest questions is in midfield. Yuri Tielemans and Andre Santos have emerged as a very interesting possible partnership. Tielemans gives United calmness on the ball, passing range, control, the ability to switch play, and quality from distance. Santos gives energy, pressure, ball-winning ability, and the legs to cover huge areas of the pitch. Put those two behind Bruno Fernandes. And suddenly, Bruno may not need to drop so deep. He can stay closer to goal. He can operate between the lines. And that is where he becomes most dangerous. And here is the key question. Are we about to see Carrick's real midfield for the new season? Because if Tielemans and Santos control this match, the competition for places becomes very serious. Now let's talk about Marcus Rashford. This is one of the biggest stories around the game. Rashford could be given another opportunity in a Manchester United shirt. And the timing could not be more dramatic. Because Ruben Amorim is on the other side. Everybody remembers the difficult period between Rashford and Amorim during their time together at United. That chapter looked like it might have closed the door on Rashford's future at Old Trafford. But now the situation is different. Carrick is in charge. And Rashford may have a fresh opportunity. If he plays tonight, forget the statistics for a moment. Watch his body language. Watch his movement. Watch his intensity. Does he press? Does he attack space? Does he look like a player fighting for his Manchester United career? Because sometimes in preseason, the most important message does not come from a goal. It comes from attitude. And imagine this scenario. Rashford comes on, scores, and celebrates in front of Amorim. That would instantly become the story of the night. Now we move to AC Milan. And this is where the tactical battle gets very interesting. Ruben Amorim remains strongly associated with his preferred three-at-the-back system. A structure built around wing-backs, aggressive pressing, and two attacking players behind the striker. United fans know this system very well. They know what it can look like when it works. But they also know where the spaces can appear. And the biggest area Manchester United should attack is behind the wing-backs. When Milan push high, the outside center-backs can be dragged into wide areas. That creates space. And United have exactly the type of players who can punish that. Ahmed, Matheus Cunha, Brian Bumo. Players who are fast, direct, and comfortable attacking open space. If United win the ball and move forward quickly, they do not need 10 passes. 3 or 4 passes could be enough. That is how they can hurt Milan. So keep an eye on the transition moments, because that could decide this game. Another huge tactical point is Bruno Fernandes. If Bruno plays as the number 10, he has to attack the space behind Milan's midfield. That zone could become the most important area of the pitch. If Bruno receives the ball there and turns, Milan's defense has a problem. Does a center-back step forward? If he does, space opens behind him. If he stays deep, Bruno gets time to pass. That is the dilemma United need to create again and again. And if Bumo starts as the central striker, his movement could make that even harder. Bumo does not stand still. He drifts. He runs the channels. He moves wide. He creates space for others. So imagine this attacking structure. Ahmed on one side, Cuna on the other, Bruno between the lines, Bumo constantly moving in front. That is difficult to mark. And if United can play with speed, it could be very dangerous. But this is also an important night for Carrick defensively. Manchester United need to show that they can control games without becoming vulnerable. It is not enough to look good in possession. The real test is what happens after they lose the ball. Do they counterpress immediately? Do the midfielders react quickly? Can the center backs defend high up the pitch? Can they stop Milan from playing through the first press? Those details matter more than the final score. Because preseason results are temporary. Structure is not. And that is the next big test. Do Manchester United finally look like a team with control, not just talent? Now let's look at the striker position. With Benjamin Sesko's availability still a talking point, Bumo could again be used through the middle. And this is a very interesting possibility, because Bumo offers a different profile. He's not a traditional number 9 who simply waits in the penalty area. He moves into channels. He combines. He presses. And he can rotate with the players around him. That creates fluidity. And it creates another question for Carrick. If Bumo performs brilliantly as a central forward, what happens when Sesko is fully ready? Does Bumo move wide? Does Cuna change position? Does Ahmed lose minutes? These are good problems for a manager to have, but they are still problems that need answers. Tonight could give us the first real clue. And now, the biggest picture. Forget for a moment whether Manchester United win 2-0, 3-1, or even lose. The real question is this. Do they look ready? Can they build from the back under pressure? Can the midfield control tempo? Can Bruno stay closer to goal? Can the front line attack with speed? Can the defense recover quickly when possession is lost? These are the things Carrick will care about. Because in 1 week, the points start to matter. There will be no more excuses about fitness. No more it is only preseason. No more free experiments. The season begins. And that is why this game against AC Milan is so important. This may be a friendly on paper, but for several Manchester United players, it could feel like an audition. And before we finish, here are the 3 biggest questions going into the game. Number 1. Can Marcus Rashford force his way back into Carrick's plans? Number 2. Can Tielemans and Santos become the midfield partnership United have been looking for? And number 3. Can Carrick prove that his system is ready to exploit the weaknesses in Amorim's setup? Because this is what makes tonight fascinating. Carrick versus Amorim. The present versus the past. A new-look Manchester United against a familiar tactical idea. And maybe, just maybe, a player with something personal to prove. Manchester United against AC Milan. The Red Devils against the Rossoneri. And on the touchline, one devil facing another. If you enjoyed this preview, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And tell me in the comments. If you were Michael Carrick, would you keep Marcus Rashford at Manchester United for the new season? See you after the game.